Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video segment every single morning to help you catch up with things that you might have missed out on whilst you were catching up on some all important rest, because let's face it, whilst you and I need sleep, the whole world needs sleep. The world of sport doesn't really sleep. It's always something or the other going on, but worry not, that's what we're here for, to help you catch up on a few things. And let's start with a topic that has been the hottest thing in Indian sporting circles: Pakistan's boycott of the T20 World Cup. Now obviously, or not the T20 World Cup, the match specifically against India. Now, obviously, the one step that should be following this sort of a move would normally be an ICC meet, which they would call of the ICC board, which includes the full member nations as well as representatives of the associate nations. So that sort of a meeting would normally be called. However, the fact is that the ICC haven't written or received any official written email or communication from the PCB, and however, it does seem like the PCB are also prepared to cover all bases. Why? Because reports in the Pakistani media are now suggesting that they will have legal representation at the ready. To actually counter anything which may come their way. So that is in fact evident by the fact that Mohsin Naqvi is apparently allowing a lawyer to accompany team officials in any meeting so that they could take the issue head on in case the ICC suddenly decides to spring a surprise on them in that regard. So it just shows that they have thought this through somehow, some way, and they are prepared to actually go through with it. However, this has of course led to some bits of derision coming their way, including of course from India, with Sanjay Manjrekar now the latest to question the need for an India-Pakistan match in all ICC events in the first place. Taking to his Instagram, he in a video said that, look, an India-Pakistan match, if it does not happen, it's no big deal. Honestly, for a long time now, the actual game has never lived up to the hype and the drama we built up before the match. And the reason for that is obvious. He said that, look, previously India and Pakistan were on similar cricketing footing, but now that's not really the case anymore, and it's hard to disagree with him. One person who was very clever to avoid any such talk was Mitchell Marsh, the Australian T20 skipper, who, lest we forget, was leading the Australian team that lost the series in Pakistan. After the third match, a reporter twice tried to goad him into making some comment on not only Pakistan's India game boycott, but also the whole Bangladesh situation. And both times Marsh flat batted it, saying, no, we're just here to focus on the World Cup, mate. I will not be commenting on that, which is fair play. Why does he have to comment on that? But really embarrassing effort from that journalist trying to goad a response when you knew full well you were never going to be getting one. But there has been criticism of India's role in this entire matter as well, because former ICC head of communications Samiul Hassan Burni has said that the Indian board could have saved the T20 World Cup from the current turmoil by being more tactful. He elucidated on that by saying that, look, if you wanted to not pick Bangladesh players, and maybe you could have sent a memo to the team saying don't pick them, or if you wanted to even release after that, you could have just simply told KKR to quietly release him for some reason and not have made such a hue and cry about it. And again, it's hard to disagree with what it is he's saying here. But in more good news for India, Tilak Verma made a successful return to cricket in the India A game that took place against USA. He scored 36 runs, even managed to get a wicket with his part-time off-spin bowling, and was active in the field, taking a couple of catches. Didn't look like he's missed a beat, which is, well, great news for India when you consider that he should be slotting right back into that number 3 role, which he'd more than made his own over the past 2 years. Bit more cricket news before we switch to sports beyond that. The WPL Eliminator will be taking place today, and the Delhi Capitals will meet the Gujarat Giants in a match that, truth be told, Gujarat Giants would be entering as slight favourites for 2 reasons. One is because they sealed their qualification much before DC did. DC, remember, had to win their last game against UP Warriors to be sure of qualification. And more importantly, Gujarat Giants in the group stages beat DC on both occasions. So definitely have that feel of knowing how to beat the Capitals, who, lest we forget, are 3-time runners-up. So always the bridesmaid so far, but never quite yet the bride. Is that going to change this season? Let's wait and watch. Switching focus now, and in football news, tonight's a League Cup semi-final. The League Cup, of course, being the English domestic knockout tournament. The second leg of the semi-final sees Arsenal host Chelsea, with the Gunners having a 3-2 deficit after the first leg. Chelsea would have to overcome that, but have been in decent form under new manager Liam Rissinier, so it should be an interesting match to say the least. Good news for Indian football fans, the ISL finally has a broadcast home, at least for this truncated season. It will be hosted or will be shown on FanCode, but the starkly interesting thing is the drop, or the massive drop, in media rights value. Previously, the rights were worth about 265 crores. Vancouver is paid about 8.5 crores, which is a nearly 95% drop off, which shows that the uncertainty that had hit the league this year has really impacted its market value as well. FIFA chief Gianni Infantino once again finds himself in a little bit of a storm because he had to defend a controversial decision he made to award a peace prize to United States President Donald Trump. Interesting call, really, and I can't quite frankly understand how it is that he can defend that, but given how cozy he's gotten with Trump in recent times, it's not really a surprising thing. Last but not least, India will be sweating over the fitness of top-ranked men's tennis player Sumit Nagal ahead of the Davis Cup tie, which will be taking place later this week against the Netherlands. Obviously, it will be a match that India start as slight underdogs, despite the fact that it is going to be taking place at home in Bangalore. And if they can have a fully fit Nagal, obviously that would be great. But it's going to be touch and go, with the non-playing captain basically confirming that it's fingers crossed that he can get fit. But that's it from us in this edition of the Morning Wrap. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook, and stay tuned through the day for more such updates from the world of sport. Follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook, and stay tuned through